So once we create all the packages, let me just go inside this model and just right click and click on new and click on Java class, and let me just write user to create the user class. So inside here I will be writing all the entities which we will be using in our table. So the user will be the table. So for that, let me just type entity annotation. So the entity annotation will automatically generate user table once we connect the Spring Boot application with the MySQL database. And entities we will be using is ID. So just type private long ID, and another entity we will be using is username. So just type private string username. So similarly, just type private string name. So this is basically username and name. And another entity we want to use is email. So just type private and just type string email. So we just want this ID to be auto generated. So for that, we just need to annotate this with ID annotation first and then generated value. So just type generated value, and we just need to generate all the getter and setter. So for that, you can just right click and just click on this generate, or you can directly press command N in Mac and just go into this getter and setter and just choose all the values and just click enter. So this will generate all the getter and setter inside this user class. So once the model class is created, so we just want to create the repository interface. So for that, just right click on this repository, click on new and just click on Java class, just choose the interface from here, and we just want to name it user repository. So just type user repository and just click enter. So here we just need to extend this user repository with JPA repository. So you can just extend this with CRUD repository as well. So inside this repository, so if you just click on control and JPA repositories, just click on accept. So you can see all the methods available here, find all and find all by ID. So these are the methods which will be given by this JPA repository. So we just need to write the user inside here. So this is the name of model class. So this will automatically import here. So if you are not able to import, so you can just hover into this. So this will suggest us to import. And we just need to write the data type of the primary key which we have used in this model class. So since we have used the long into this ID, so we just need to write long here. So once this is done, so we just need to connect our Spring Boot application with MySQL database. So for that, just go into these resources, and inside here you can see the application.properties. So just go inside there, and here so we just need to write some of the configurations. So for that, let me just type Spring and .jpa .hibernate .ddl auto and update. So here if you write create instead of this update, so each time you run the application, whole data you have created or you have inserted into your table will be deleted. So I will be using the update here, so that the data which we will use will be saved for the next time once we run the application. So just type Spring .data source .url. So here we just need to give the URL of the database. So for that, just type jdbc and just type mysql / and just type localhost, and the port is 3306, and here we just need to give the name of database. So for that, we just need to create one database. So you just need to install the MySQL into your system. So if you haven't installed, so I have already got a video for how you can install MySQL into your Windows, Linux and Mac. So just follow that video, and once you install MySQL and MySQL Workbench, so you can just click on this MySQL Workbench to open, and just go to this local instance and just enter the password. So if you have one, and let me just create the new database. Let me call it create database and just call full stack, or you can give the name whichever you want. So just type create database full stack, and to execute just click here. So this will create the full stack database. To check or verify, just type show databases, and if you execute again, so you can see the full stack database has been created. So once I create this full stack database, so I can just put full stack here. So just type the full stack or the database name, and just type spring.data source and username. So I have the root username, default username, so I will be putting the root. So if you have got different username, so you can just put that, but if you haven't set the different username, so you can just put root and just type spring.datasource.password. So if you have got default password, so you can just keep this blank, but for my case I have got the password, so I will just put my password and just type spring.data_source.driver class name, and since we are using the MySQL, so for that just type com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver in capital letter. So once you do that, so let me just go into this full stack backend application, and let me just right click, and if I just click on this run full stack application, so this should run our application and create the user table inside our database. So you can see here the Tomcat started at port 8080. So now again, if I just go to the MySQL workbench here, and let me just type the command use database, or you can just directly type use full stack and just execute the command. And if I just type show tables here, so just type show tables, so you can see the user table has been automatically created. And inside here, so let me just type DESC for description and just type user. And now if I just execute this command, so you can see ID, email, name and username has been automatically created here. So this is the power of Spring Boot.